I don't know what we should do. We have to say people.
Yeah, I think we need to send people here since we have like 7 snap talks. Because we had the posters open yesterday.
Am I the first one?
I think Alessia is going to go first and then probably you. So
What did you say? Sorry.
Alessia first because she's going to keep time.
Oh, okay. And then.
Then you.
Okay. So I am the second, of course. Just asking.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
You help us figure this out.
Is
Let's
it?
see here. So we have, which one is it?
This one.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Could you take her when she's doing her presentation?
Yes.
I would,
With my.
okay, but I can take with mine. Okay. Or I don't have.
When you start, you need to like last call, anybody needs to sign this. Do you have your,
Sharpie was out there.
sorry, I didn't see it.
Somebody, it must have just fallen because I just used it a minute ago.
Okay. That was such a cool idea because there were like 5 different groups that were, and then everybody's posting that. Like, cool.
Okay, good, good. So I believe I have it recording. Now if I hit it, it says stop recording.
Sure looks like it.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna do this.
We're gonna do this right.
And then do we have a list or the order?
Alessia is going first, and then you should just pull it off of the wall.
And they're all up in there?
Yeah,
Okay, I have to sign too.
but I don't know who's because when it opens it, it just gives it a number.
Oh, okay.
So,
So it's in that order, 10, 11, 12?
I have no idea what order it is.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
We'll just find out as we go.
yeah, and then this is present.
Cool.
Yeah, we can pull this sign down.
Okay.
No.
There is the microphone.
Is it on? Good.
Okay. Well, who is taking the time? That I'm not. I'm not here to take the time. No, but I wanted Matteo here because Matteo is not here. Okay. Okay, somebody
How
can
much time are we doing?
tell him. 7 minutes.
7 minutes.
3, 5, 7.
Okay.
Okay, I'm a high school science teacher. I had the great opportunity also to start a PhD about geoscience education, and this is my school. And when I started to be in love for polar sciences is after a training course for teachers. The name was SPES, Summer SPES. Oh my God. Okay, no, because it's in Italian. Scuola Polare Estiva was a summer school for teachers in polar sciences. And I completely fell in love with Antarctica. And the person that I want to thank, that is not here now, but you can recognize, it's Matteo Cattadori, that was the organizer of this school. And the day before yesterday, Jen Baseman, yesterday, spoke about the Big Five. Is one, of course, of my Big Five. Is completely one of them. He changed completely my life. So now, he's not here. You can tell him that I really cheer him up. Okay, so about, I started to be interested about cryosphere, and I didn't know so much about cryosphere at Antarctica. I never mentioned Antarctica in my classes. When I did this summer school, I was teacher since 12, 13 years already. I never mentioned the name Antarctica during my classes. After this summer school, so my vision of the textbook, because we need to say that the Italian textbook on earth science don't speak about Antarctica almost at all. So also for a teacher it's difficult to deal with this topic. So I started to be interested in cryosphere, and so glacier, ice sheet, ice shelves, and iceberg, sea ice, permafrost, snow. And why this topic was interesting, so the polar sciences. For nowadays concerns about climate change, now I'm speaking as a teacher, the topic link all the sciences. In Italy there is this focus on integrating sciences, so to try to have a link to all the sciences together, so chemistry, biology, geology. And the topic is particularly suitable for an inquiry approach, and also because there is a little attention to this topic in the Italian textbook about earth science. So, one of the topics I deal the most was the climate change. So for understanding the climate change, it means to reconstruct the Earth's climate of the Earth, and the discipline that deal with this is the paleoclimatology. Thank you. Yes, I think. Okay, and the paleoclimatologists use archive and proxies. So archive, it means like ice sheet and glacier, and proxies like stable isotope, trace elements, dust, and oh, Matteo, you're too late. And that can be related to climate parameter like temperature, wind, atmospheric circulation, and so on. This is very interesting topic, the proxy. So I will skip this sentence. To do that, I moved from the Camerino University, so from Italy, to the Ohio State University. I started to work at the Bird, Polar and Climate Research Center that is dedicated over explorer bird, emerald bird. And the aim of this experience for a teacher as me was to be involved in the research on ice cores, and so to work with the scientists, with the researcher as a researcher, even if I was a teacher. And so in the focus on the teachers that meet researchers. And about education and outreach, I joined the education and outreach group of the Bird, Polar and Climate Research Center, and I start to develop some teacher resources working with them. And one project, so, and here you can see some education and outreach activities we did, we usually do at the Bird, Polar and Climate Research Center. And research too. The Bird, Polar and Climate Research Center is the place where the United States has the collection of ice core. So they have the collection of ice core, one collection of ice cores from many places in the world. And so in this map, you can see in the spot are the place where the Bird, Polar and Climate Research Center retrieved the ice cores in the world. And the peculiarity is that they not only retrieve ice core from Arctic and Antarctica, but also in the middle latitude. This is the very peculiarity of this center. And you can see there is the Ortles Glacier that is actually very close to Rovereto. And in the 2011, they started a project, the Ortles project. Ohio State University was the leader university of the project, together with the University of Venice, University of Padua. And actually we have here one of the, also a teacher that is involved every year in a very interesting activity for the students, a glaciology camp, where students can do field trip and field activity on the glacier. This is very interesting. You can access all the material about this project in this website, ortles.org, and I brought with me some brochures, some handouts that you can take about the project. They are bilingual. The website is trilingual. It's in English, Italian, and German. And so I wanted to advertise the website. It's managed in voluntary base. So as usual, so Matteo and I, we worked on the website. Just to see, we never worked together, Matteo. And there are many content. And thanks for your attention. This is because maybe yesterday you didn't believe me about I was there during the extraction of the tool of the device, the subsea camera. I was there. You see, like with the I don't know this, the hammer. How you call it? The drill. Drill. Okay. I was there, trying to win against the sea ice. We lost. Oh, not out. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Just because I'm sorry. So I will give you this once we are ready.
And before the next talk,
Time to ask you something, but
I'm here.
no, to tell you thank you in front of other
free
people,
brochure
because
if you want.
it was you inspiring me doing this. So you and
Don't
Matteo
make me
inspired.
cry.
No, it's true. For you, and that was nothing 4 years ago, and for me, from 3 years ago. So after meeting
If you
your
want to sit
work,
down, you can.
I started to be interested in this field. So
Thank you.
so much. Really.
So can I be one of the 5?
Of course.
So who is controlling the time?
I move.
Okay. So hello everyone. Thank you for watching my presentation. Before I started, I'd like to thanks the SCAR for the funding to be here. I'm very glad to be here. And my name is Silvia. I'm from Brazil. And what I'll talk to you today is about a distance learning course for teachers. It's called Antarctic or Antarctica, how to introduce the polar science in the primary schools, in the primary school curriculum. This course is part of a research project that I coordinate at the university. And I also work with teacher training, so we do many things and we work with many researchers in all countries. We create this course because the polar theme, like Alessia said in Italy, the polar theme is highly explored in our schools. And also, there is no teaching material in our language. So we need to solve this problem. The goals of the course are to introduce polar science themes in the primary school, to popularize Antarctica science to different audiences, and of course to produce teaching materials in Portuguese, our language, of course. So our theoretical foundation are mainly based in the Russian authors Vygotsky and Bakhtin. From this foundation, we construct the dialogic learning concepts, and we work with collaborative learning. The dialogic learning, a dialogue, a constant dialogue is expected between teachers, authors, teaching materials such as books, texts, video classes, video games, and so on. And the collaborative learning, it supposes the meeting between the students to solve problems and develop projects. Let's talk about the course. So, Antarctica or Antarctica, it's a 40 hours distance learning course. We have one class, one face-to-face class, and all others happen online, mediated by Moodle. The course has 4 modules: life, convergence, ICE, and environment, and has to finish in 10 weeks. The course participants can choose which model will start, and there is no order to follow. They can make any model as they know, they want. So the course has about 5 different activities. Because we have 3 minutes, or 3 minutes has go. I have 2 minutes. Okay. So I'll talk about the Polar Project because it's the most important activity in this course. The Polar Project is an activity that the teachers who are the course participants, they have to elaborate a project in their classes. And we go to each class to see what they did. And at the end, they had to send to us a video with their experience report. It's very interesting activity. Let's see some results. So, in this course, last year, we have 19 course participants. Approximately 300 children and adults were reached with their Polar project. Hundreds of messages were shared by the discussion forums, and more than 300 stories were shared on their Facebook profile. That means that almost 20,000 people were reached at least with one of that story. Oh yes, that is some examples of the stories that they share. So, before the course starts, we ask them something, and after the course, we ask the same sentence, the same statements, and we ask them to say what they think about these things. As I say before, we don't study Antarctica in our schools. So, as you can see, that, well, they learn something with our course, of course. And the problem is that before the course, we can see a lot of misconception about Antarctica. After the course, some misconception have persisted, but most of the misconception was solved. For example, in the last one, the world's highest freshwater concentration is in Antarctica. Before the course starts, 5 of the course participants believe that was the true. After the course finished, 18 people believe that was true. So, in conclusion, the course helped participants to understand the importance of teaching about the continent. There was significant learning about basic knowledge of Antarctica. Participants were able to contextualize that knowledge in their classes. Producing Portuguese teaching material is crucial to introduce Antarctica in Brazilian curriculum. A multidisciplinary team is necessary to have better results in science popularization actions. Thank you very much. And questions? That's my time.
That was it. Perfect.
Okay. So, no questions? That's easy.
I
Thank
have
you.
one.
Okay.
Do you have on the website or something where you have all that data and the questions?
No, we don't have the data. We have the course and the video classes, but I can send you the if you ask me, you just take my email.
Yep. I will. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, this one. Okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Ciao. Hola. Hello. Hola. Namaste. So actually, there are so many people here from different countries. I tried to, I think, get everyone here. So, okay, I am Anant. If I've not already introduced myself to you, I'm from India. I'm a PhD student. I'm working on snow petrels in Antarctica, and I'm also part of Apex India, through which I am here. And I would like to thank Apex and also SCAR for getting me here, and also Jose. He is not here. Actually, Jose introduced PEI to me. I'm very thankful to them. So what we did basically, part of our Apex activities, we do a lot of education and outreach in India, and we try to get not only students working in the Antarctic, there are very few, and the Arctic, again they are lesser than the Antarctic researchers, but also people who are working at the third pole, that is the Himalayas. So our concept is to get all the researchers on one common platform and try to instill not only popularize polar science, but also mentor them to go to their respective organizations or universities and teach the students. So we did last year a workshop, we called it Ice Caps. I'll first begin with what we do in our IPRN group, which is called as Indian Polar Research Network. It is Apex India for you. And we do panel discussions, we do talks, we do activities. We also, so this till now we have not concentrated on school students. We have mostly concentrated on undergraduate students and postgraduate, early postgraduate students. And but we have been doing a lot of activities since last 4 years now. And we talk about things which matter, not only things like climate change is reducing the Arctic sea ice and what's happening in the Antarctic, but also what's happening in the Himalaya, the receding of the glaciers, and these things which matter to the planet. So we try to tell these things to the people, to the students who participate in our activities, and you can see there are some senior members also there in our activities. So it's not only the students who are getting knowledge or getting information about these things, but also other teachers and other university professors who attend our meetings and talks who get knowledge. So I did, we did this workshop called as Ice Caps. It was, the acronym stands for Improving Communication Effectiveness and Capacity Addition in Polar Sciences. And we did this with support from Apex and also in support with my organization, which is Wildlife Institute of India in India. And we brought in a lot of resource persons, all of them Indians, but these are experts of their own domain. And like if you can see the one person there, he works on Himalayan glaciers, and there are people like who are very good with statistical tools, and people like who are very good ornithologists, and also a person who works on snow leopard in India. And there was this guy, the one on the left side, he works on lions, Asiatic lions, but he gives very good presentations, and he is very good, he teaches presentation skills. So we roped him in for our Ice Caps workshop. And our target audience was mostly undergraduates and also first year master's students and early career researchers. Earlier we set a target of getting 30 people, but then slowly a lot of people started having interest, and they wanted to be there for the Ice Caps workshop. So we increased the limit to 50 students, although it was difficult handling 50 students, but we did it. And we had 8 resource persons. Yeah. So the focus of the workshop is, at least in India, the students, especially the undergraduate students, they don't talk much. Even if they go to the presentations or conferences, they don't talk to different scientists or different within their peers. They're quite shy. So to break this shyness and for helping them communicate with each other, this is the focus of the workshop. So we started with teaching them how to give good presentation skills and how to create networks within your peer group, and also with other peer groups so that you can do interdisciplinary studies or you can increase your network for your future career. And we targeted the communication skills which are crucial for any researcher. So these participants were not only biologists, but they were also physicists, geologists, everyone. So we gave them workshops about writing skills, especially science writing, and presenting, how to present your data or your papers in a scientific community, and also popular science, and also networking skills. And also these skills were also there were like primer workshops within the ice caps, like our program, LaTeX, which is a writing tool, and using reference managers for their studies. So these are the skills which the undergraduate students, they usually lack when they go to the post-graduation stage. So we try to instill these things for them. And we also took them to field. So my institute is very close to Himalayas, so we take them to Himalayan, we try to give them knowledge about Himalayan flora and fauna. So we also give them some photography skills and also survival strategies in Himalaya, like if you are lost in Himalayas, what to eat, which plants to eat, and so like that. The feedback was good. Feedback was really good, and people said like it was very rigorous. It was a 2-day workshop, but it was very rigorous, and there were a lot of focus on the career building skills, career skills. The resource persons had very good feedback too, and now people want us to organize ice caps too, which we are planning this coming polar week in September with the help of Apex again, maybe. Oh, sorry. I would like to thank the team with IPRN and also SCAR CBT Travel Grant, Jose, Matthew, and Alicia. Thank you very much. That's all. Thank you. Any questions? Yeah, we have a Facebook group of Indian Polar Research Network. Yeah, it's IPRN, Indian Polar Research Network. It's Apex India, actually. So yeah, we are renamed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Does that work?
Hello.
All right. Welcome. I'm glad you guys are still here at the end of the day. So I'm going to go along the theme of what we did in the Montreal Conference of Knowledge to Action. I'm from the University of Arizona in Tucson, so all those wonderful pictures of the desert were from me. And we're being affected by climate change now in Tucson. And we'll talk about a new project that we're working on in my organization, Arizona Project WET. I run a water education program where we reach 10,000 students a year with direct education in their classroom or out at a riparian area. And we also do teacher professional development and reach about 250 teachers a year. These are just some of the things I'm going to talk about very quickly, so I'm not going to stay there. But one of the things when we talk about knowledge to action, and there's a difference between learning to know and learning to do. So if we just teach our students about critical thinking and how to think critically about climate change, we're not going to make any progress on combating climate change or adapting to climate change or mitigating it. So what we really need to do is teach them action competence learning. It's this new model that I learned about. When you do that, you start having students understand that there's shared responsibilities, shared rights. You start bringing in decision making and social justice and equity, and these are things our students really care about because they're the generation that's really going to be affected a lot more than we are with climate change. And when you start to do things like that, then they can go ahead and work on mitigation and adaptation. So our project is called Recharge the Rain, and we're pretty excited about this project from the NOAA, so National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, we got funding for a community resiliency grant. And apparently they saw the value in it because they only funded five grantees out of 170 applications. So we're pretty excited to be able to have this. We're partnering with a local nonprofit called Watershed Management Group. And some of the things we're going to be doing in our projects is involving teachers, a cohort of teachers over 3 years to develop curriculum around climate literacy and engineering design of rainwater harvesting systems so that we can go ahead and mitigate some of the effects that we're seeing from climate change. We're also going to involve community members, and everyone's going to become a citizen science, and I'll share a citizen science tool that you guys can all use with your students. And we're going to be actually installing some rainwater harvesting systems at schools. So the students are going to design them and install them into their system to make a wildlife habitat, make a cool area with growing vegetation through rainfall. So one of the components of what we're doing is systems thinking. So Louise isn't here, but she talked about Mary Alberts earlier, and the first time I heard her speak, she talked about how the Earth is a system of systems. And so in order to understand the Earth systems, we need to really look at systems thinking. So what we do with systems thinking is we put a language to it. We're using the Cornell model of making distinctions. And already we started with our teachers and have them start understanding what is climate. What is climate not? And they really start thinking about their own thinking. And so once they start figuring out the parts of climate, then they understand what are parts of climate, what's climate a part of, and where do those things start fitting together with the relationships. And then you start taking perspectives, you know, because there's all different perspectives when you start looking at systems. So these are the threats that we're working against in Tucson, and you can see increased temperatures. This is our temperature data from 1895 to 2015. And yeah, it's definitely going up. And this is from an area where in the summer we regularly have degrees, you know, over 38-degree days, you know, even up to 46 degrees last year. So we get some really incredible heat. And then we've been in an extended drought. Part of our water supply comes 336 miles to reach us from the Colorado River uphill through the Central Arizona Project, which is the largest energy user in our state that uses coal-fired energy, coal power plant to get to us. And then on the other hand, we get extreme storms. So this was actually a 6-foot culvert that overflowed in a matter of an hour outside my office one day. So we get these that we need to deal with too. So that's where we're going to bring in rainwater harvesting systems to help out with that. So I See Change is an application that you can use with your students to document climate change. It's an online app, and you can also run it on an iOS system. If I can get out to the internet really quickly, I can show you some of the tools that you can do with I See Change. So you can post things online, and there's different investigations that you can post it to. So you can see we started our own community investigation, but everyone can put in things about, you know, smog and air pollution, first of season, early spring, trees, snow and ice. And once you start putting in your investigations, so here's an example of one of my investigations, and you can post it. I like to think of it as the Instagram of climate change. When you click on this little button down here, it brings up satellite data, and I don't know if it does it on the website. Yeah, so here you can see that it's tied into NASA satellites, and so it'll tell you what the CO2 was at the time of my photo. And then it will also give you the temp at the time of my photo, and it'll give you the weather that was occurring that day. So it's some really cool stuff. So one of the other things they do about it is they start to make sense of your observations. So they have reporters that work with them, and they'll do reports for you. So they did a report for me from some of my investigations that I had, and they pulled out my investigations, and then they started putting it all into this really cool report and pulling out the science so we can make sense of that. So let me go back and finish up here so we can move forward. So ichange.org, and you can go to it, and I've lost it. Oh, there we go. Let me quickly go. Don't get seasick here. It totally got out of there. All right, move forward. So that's another one. So eventually what we're going to be doing in our project is developing curriculum using NOAA tools to do climate literacy. We're going to be doing engineering design curriculum to design rainwater harvesting systems, and then we're going to have our students implementing solutions. So these are students putting in a schoolyard rainwater harvesting system with a wildlife habitat. If you have questions, just let me know, and I want to give a thanks to all these organizations here. And I have cards, so if you guys are interested in IC Change, I know the developer of that program, and if you want to do some stuff globally, they'd love it. And if you have any issues, just let me know. Oops. The next one.
I gave another one, but it's not the right one, so they didn't change it. I changed it.
Okay, you can just put it in there. I'll put it up. That's okay. Should come up just a sec.
Just open.
It's gonna come up here.
It's complete.
Let's see. There it is.
Okay, just open it.
No worries. And then if you can save it for us, we'll save it on the desktop before you leave.
Yeah, I'll do that. Finished. No, that's the end. Okay. Okay, yes. Okay, as Betsy said, thank you everyone for still being there. Thanks Matteo and Alicia, I don't think they're here, for all the really interesting workshop and talks, and thanks also to Click that supported me through a scholarship to travel here. My name is Anne-Mathilde. I'm going to talk not what I do as a job, but what I do as a volunteer in my free time. I'm actually trained as a polar biologist. I've done some work, a PhD on Adelie penguins. I'm now working on Arctic foxes, but I'm going to talk to you today about polar education and outreach activities that we've been doing in France with Apex France. Before I continue, I need to say that, can I put it in, here? Yeah, no? Is it? No. That will be nice. Okay, so in France, actually Apex France is mostly young scientists, but we're kind of a mix between Apex strictly and PEI in a way that we have a number of our members that are non-scientists or that have some links with science, but that are trained as science communicators or educators. We don't have any teachers, strictly speaking, but we have a number of different variety of people working with different teams in polar science and science education. So we're the French National Committee of Apex, which you've heard a lot from the past few days. We are a lot more recent. We started in 2013. And I'll start with a bit of about myself. So as I said, I did some work with penguins. And then I actually started as a polar scientist, as a young polar scientist in 2007, heading to the French research station in Dumont-d'Urville as a winterer, working as a field assistant to do Adelie penguin and emperor penguin research. And that was right during IPY. And I've heard all these great talks about how great IPY was. I can imagine, but being in Antarctica then, we didn't have anything that was linked to IPY. Just don't know why, but that's how it was, at least on the French station. But then when I came back, I started listening and hearing a bit of what Apex was doing on the international level, and then got some funding, some scholarship from a big program for women in science from L'Oréal. And then part of the funding that I got for was linked to a proposition to do some polar outreach and education activities in France. So I started contacting a number of people, including some of you here, about some suggestions about, okay, we would like to do some things about outreach in France, but what could we do? And then I was told, well, you should contact her because she's also French, she's also a member of APEX, and she also wants to do the same kind of things as you've been doing. So we met. She's Pascaline Bourguin. Sandy also talked a bit about her, about the French Greenlandic project yesterday. And Pascaline has a PhD in marine oceanography. She was working in the Arctic. And afterwards she got a master in science education and science communication. And now she's working as a project manager for Tara, which is a French sailing ship that has been doing different missions in the Arctic and the Pacific too. So together we met and we ended up starting APEX France and especially organizing Polar Weeks in France. It went really well, amazingly, even though there was extra work hours for us. For the French Polar Week in 2013, we had about 300 students registered, so about 10 different schools. We offered a number of different activities, online webinars. For the second Polar Week, we used this food web activity that Betty talked to us about, and we asked the students or the teachers if everyone in the class could draw parts of the Antarctic food web, and we made this huge fresque using all the drawings that we got from the students. So we didn't get 600 drawings, but it took a bit of time to compile this on the computer. Then it kept going up and up and up, and in 2014 we had more than 2,000 students registered for the fourth French Polar Week, with a number of specific activities linked to that. Last October we had more than 4,000 students registered. So we switched from organizing Polar Year in France twice a year to once a year because it started to be a bit too much work. So for the last French Polar Week we organized a small contest. We always want, because we don't go into the classes, we use online webinars, we offer activities to the teachers, then they just take whatever they want to take. But we don't have funding so that we can send the scientists into the schools, which would be great, but it hasn't been the case yet. But we really have this aim that we want to do something out of everything that is being done with the school. So last Polar Week we organized a contest where we asked the teachers and the students that they would send us one thing. It could be a drawing, a painting, a poem, a video, whatever they wanted, and to submit it to the French Polar Week contest. And then we had a small jury of APEX French members deciding who would be winning this contest. And then every participant, every school that participated to this contest received a small box with a number of different things depending on whether they were winners or not. So we had 3 winners. They're small on the left here. You can see them better on the website. Just want to say that on the top part, that was really amazing. They made a real size model of a Greenlandic shark, so that was fun. So this just as a scientist, a small graph showing how many students we had each Polar Week. So it's getting a bit too much. We need to find the right balance between how many students we can have. This is okay. Just really quickly, 2 other projects that APEX France has been involved with. One is a bit like this polar matchmaking that you were talking. It's one young scientist is paired with one class and one teacher, and then the class has a research project over the year, and we're involved with all research projects that have any link to climate and polar regions. And then the other project, and I would be really happy to talk to you more about, and this is the only project out of all the different ones where we actually got funding for that, is an exchange project, a new one between France and Greenland, where 2 times 25 students from France travel to Greenland, and about 2 times 20 students from Greenland are traveling to France. And that's linked together with the research project on foxes, red foxes in France, Arctic foxes in Greenland. I needed to say, well, I do a bit of work outside of that. This is a link to really cool videos that some colleagues have been involved in in managing about the Arctic fox research and conservation that we're doing in Norway. So you can have the link here. If not, you just search for Storm and Tinder, which is the names of these two foxes, and then you have like 7-minute summary of what we've been doing. So if you want to contact me or Apex Friends and know more about this faune de demain, meaning wildlife of tomorrow, then just you have the information here. Thank you. Okay. Well, you just look on YouTube for Storm and Tinder, T-E-I-N-D-E, T-I-N-D, and then you find them. There's Norwegian, Swedish, and English, so look for the English one, I guess.
Or email her.
Or email me, yeah. Yes?
Can we save it to the best?
Yeah. I don't speak any Italian, so it's a bit, okay, I think I'll just,
do it after.
yeah, I'll just,
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
no, it's good. I'll just,
You have Elena? Yeah.
I need I have another one in the folder. It's a
It's open as a PDF, I think.
yeah, it's a PDF. You can keep this open because I will. Yeah, this one.
That one? You want this first?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because the other one follows.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a new NASA-funded project on the impacts and feedbacks of a warming Arctic, and engaging learners in climate change education. And so we are reaching, you probably can't see, but we have project needs that to build the capacity to navigate challenges that people in the Arctic are experiencing. So communities must not only increase knowledge, but also generate new knowledge as the rapid change is happening. And so citizen science is one of the processes that they could use as a tool. And so I mention that later. And sometimes citizen science has been done by the GLOBE program since 20 years ago. And however, sometimes hypothesis-driven models of citizen science have been criticized that it's only the researchers' concern that is considered instead of the participants' concerns. And so we're trying to get that melded together where not only so educators and their students and community members are involved in the project so that they might monitor their environment and as well as maybe address and solve a problem or an issue in their community. And so and because we're in Alaska, we're hoping to engage indigenous people in the project. And so for our objectives, we offer participants citizen science in different investigations using the GLOBE program, and which is now in the middle. And there's different areas of investigations. There's climate and weather. There's soils. There's hydrology or the hydrosphere, and land cover. What's covering the land and what changes are happening because of the changes in weather and climate. And then let's see. Oh, phenology. And so the changes in biological events and the timing of it. When does the plant growing season start and when does it end? And the same with the timing of migration of animals and butterflies and insects. And sometimes the timing of the food for one species, there is a disconnect. And so there's maybe early hatching of eggs into chicks, but then they don't have anything to eat because the others have, you know, delayed or been. So knowing phenology is really important. Or berries, berry picking. Fishing, berries, and hunting are all parts of subsistence native ways of living. And so if that affects their subsistence lifestyle, then they need to respond and adapt to it. And so the methods that we are using is besides the GLOBE program, and also because the students are only in the school for maybe a year or two, maybe even 4. And how do you connect that with climate? And so by using NASA satellite data that has, you know, years, because climate is at least, the climate scientists consider 30 years as, you know, as a what they would call climate. And so so the students can access maybe NASA data. And so we have a framework of how, so we're trying to reach educators in the classroom as well as those who are preparing to be in the classroom. And so this just shows an example of a phenology data that's on the ground observations by students, and then a comparison with satellite data. And then this just acknowledges the different people. Okay, now I just want to mention that one of the things is that I just want to give, there's a new, in the GLOBE program, you know, usually there's a training, face-to-face training, but now there's also e-training so that you can get trained on the web and become a GLOBE trained teacher. And so, and the latest one is the GLOBE Observer app, and they started with the cloud. The types of cloud, the percent cloud coverage, the types of contrails, you know, these clouds that are produced by airplanes that satellites cannot see. And so the ground observation is very important. And so there will be, the cloud app is operative, and then the mosquito app is getting ready to be released. And so for the iPhones or the EOS systems, you can do it, download via the App Store, or for the Android via the Google Play. And this is the GLOBE website, www.globe.com. And thank you for your attention. Oh, yes.
Questions?
So if you, yeah, so if you have any questions, then, you know, well, there's, this is going to be on the web, and my email is on there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
There's one more.
Wait, one more?
Yeah, it's already open.
Ah.
I guess. Sorry to keep you up from dinner.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a limnologist at the University of Innsbruck, working on microbial ecology of snow and ice. And what we try to do is to sell the kids that in their freezer, there are bacteria growing. So normally they don't buy it, of course. So we are surprised. We work with the cryosphere, but we say it's a biosphere. And that's a challenge with kids. So what do we want to pass on to the kids? What's our message? So ice and snow for the kids is sterile. It's cold, it's nasty, nothing can grow there, you can't see anything, but it's just a living habitat, and the kids just have to have a closer look to see what we can actually find there. And there is also biodiversity, and I really like this cartoon very much because it's not that old, but there you see how young this science is about biodiversity in ice and snow. So has been said there is a penguin, it may be another penguin, but this is it. But now, as we know, the biodiversity is much more bigger. So we talk more about microbial life in these extreme habitats, but it's all about an anthropocentric feeling. So cold is not nice for us, but for some bacteria, room temperature is even fatal. And it is life in slow motion, and it is a really sensitive ecosystem. And this is also interesting then for the kids. And with the climate change, we also have more liquid water available for those microbial communities. That means that they grow even better. And now we know that glaciers are just like a lung. A whole glacier surface is doing photosynthesis, and we say glaciers are becoming greener with more and more water. And also, of course, extremely sensitive ecosystems. So we want to show the kids the real habitat so they can feel it, see it. But of course, we cannot really take them to the polar regions. First, it's a question of money. It's a question of safety. And their parents even hate us now. So we can take them to the third pole. And we are in a lucky position. In Innsbruck, we have the Alps, or our glaciers, just in front of the door. So just grab the kids and drag them up the glacier. So parents don't really like it, but the kids love it. So what do they see there? We work a lot on cryogenic holes, which are, the kids say it's a dirt hole on the ice, which is all sand deposited on the glacier and melted in. And that's a real hotspot for microbial ecology. So this is really teeming with life, and it's really relevant for the carbon budget of glaciers. They must see a cryogenic hole, even if it's in a very odd shape. They have to look in a microscope, and they want to see those columella, which are funny animals just jumping around. And there they get the grasp that cryosphere is actually alive. And every kid, or most of the kids in the Alps, they know about blood snow, this reddish snow, which is like, it's a green algae. And the kids always brag with this bag, say it's not a blood conserve, it's just melted snow with these algae. And these are very relevant for photosynthesis on the glaciers. And climate change can be seen, of course, in the Arctic and in the Antarctic, as we can observe it. But in the Alps, it's seen even more rapidly. So the kids, they identify themselves with this issue. And so we drag them up to another glacier, season before, season after. So they really go out now and they teach their parents and grandparents. And they want to read the ice cores we're taking with them, or let them drill it by hand and let them interpret, let them make the interpretation of the ice cores. How can we read it? But what works with the kids? They love seeing weird animals, and make a Justin Bieber out of the animals. They have to have their stars and their role models, and they just love the tardigrades, those little water bears, and they're just the survivors for everything. You can do any bad things, and the kids are just fascinated. They like hands-on activities, of course. We have to pass on responsibility. They hate it if we say it's such and such, and believe it or not, they say, we want to do it by ourselves. So we stick them into an ice cave and let them take samples. Or we have this observatory where they take air samples. So they go up with this little cart. This is open. So parents don't know everything, but the kids are then really proud. Then we stick them back again into the ice cave where we have a real lab inside, and they do their experiments. They do plates spreading, and they feel responsible for it. We let them make patches for international expeditions. So we had a patch competition with 12-year-olds, and they're then so proud when we old ones go with their patch to this expedition. And we also like to face them with the local issues. Well, this is part of our lab in this ice cave. But in the alpine regions, we suffer a lot from this melt, especially for tourism, for glacial melt with the ski pistes. So what do? We just lay out blankets, and this is ecological not okay. And so the kids are like our ambassadors because they investigate the harm coming from these blankets, and they are quite proud of that. So what does not work? DNA stuff, we experienced it different today in this workshop. Was really, really nice, but they don't like it too much because it's too anonymous. They can't see. They like to have little groups, they want to do everything by themselves. And we also have organizations who help to translate our science. Silvia Prock, some of you have met her before from the Young University. Or we have this Austrian program from ministry, Sparkling Science. So kids come to university, we go to schools, it's a real research project. Digital Explorer, so this guy sits in the snow most of the day doing Skypes with classes worldwide. Or Wings World Quest in the US, it's like the female pendant to the Explorers Club. And this is another way of teaching or how to fall in love with ice. Thank you very much. No questions? Good. If you haven't signed the banner, we need you to sign the banner. And there we go.
Session.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop this so you can do it.
Matteo, sì. I just would like to thank you, all of you, for following these very hard 2 days of sessions and